You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Well, Power Man, this is your boy Al Mega in the building, baby, and today we're going to be diving deep into some creative madness of a true filmmaking powerhouse, baby. That's right. He's directed music videos for legends. He's brought you some cinematic shows like the Scarehouse. You know, he's made your heart race with The Last Call. But now he's messing with your mind, and he definitely is. I've been watching this joint right here, and this very most interactive, murdery way possible with his latest TV brain bender called DREAMCRUSHER. So buckle up, Crusaders, because we're back up behind the scenes and the lens with the visionary himself, the dream slayer, the story hacker, the big boss himself, the one, the only Mr. Gavin Michael Booth. Welcome to the show, kiddo. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you for coming on and diving deep into the show. But even more than that, for those that are just in the unknown, because as I dove into your journal, like, damn, yo, you part of a lot of wonderful cult horror movie favorites of recent memory. So look at you, getting your stripes in the horror world too. I mean, I dig it, and this too because you fucked me up. Like we were talking about in the green room, you know. They sent me the thing a little bit out of sequence, so I'm enjoying it. And you made a comment like Memento. I'm like, thinking about it as I was doing it. It's like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Cause I was like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, we gave you like a golf handicap, I guess, where you didn't have all the info, so you're a disadvantaged investigator. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was great. Once again, I said, "Oh, okay, this is why." Well, it was great. Let me tell you, the show is dope. It's music, it's noir, it's a great mystery. So many different players and layers that you laid upon here. So yeah, I dig it. But I'm only teasing folks. I know, but we're gonna get into this in a moment. Let's first take ourselves back just a wee tad. All right. What was the exact moment, my man, that you looked at the camera and said, yes, this is my destiny, baby?
Yeah, it was sort of organic. I grew up in a house. My dad's a photographer, and we had a dark room. So I played around with cameras a little bit with stills, and we had movie cameras growing up for just making home videos. And then
man, you mean like VHS type video cameras?
I had a few, and before that, like a Super 8 camera from
Super
you could do,
8.
Yeah, you could do animation and whatnot. But I just started making little videos with my neighborhood friends. One of my closest friends, Eli. Shout out to Eli. It's his birthday this weekend.
Eli?
Yeah, we went out. We would go out and run around the neighborhood and make like a Friday the 13th parody, or lots of catch up on the lens kind of stuff. Anything that we loved growing up. My friend Troy Schwager and I would make Indiana Jones and the Lost Remote Controller, just sort of paying homage to all of the things that we loved watching growing up, and just sort of fell in love with it. And when I hit high school, they had a really, really sick editing system and camera system at the time that was way more advanced than what I could afford with my VHS camcorder. And I just started spending every waking moment in there creating and just sort of haven't stopped.
You see the importance of maybe some of those that maybe they can't afford a little bit disadvantaged at the time, but have all the creativity. See why these wonderful programs that allow, some of these centers or the schools that have equipment. It's so important. Look what you've done. I mean, you've been a big boss. I dig it.
Yeah, it's democratized now because anybody, if you have a smartphone of any kind and a computer you can edit on, you have as much power as a Hollywood studio.
If you have a fucking smartphone, you're in. There is no excuse for you not to be able to monetize yourself in some way.
Yeah.
Listen, that bill could pay for itself if you apply yourself.
I had to walk that VHS tape from house to house and see if any of my neighbors would watch it. But nowadays you just make it, throw it on YouTube and see what happens.
And it's a wrap, yeah, bro. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if your channel monetized, you got a couple of views, you got some paper. Hey, you never know. I love it. So talk about this now. From shooting music vids for Third Eye Blind, Jesus, bro. Look at this. Look at these names. And let me get a broom. And to crafting some indie horrors, like, what's the wildest day you've had on set that you could actually say in a podcast? And I beg you, please don't get me in trouble.
Oh, I'm pretty open, but it's always that there's the famous quote on Jaws where they said all they would hear over the radio over and over is the shark's not working, because they had so many delays to that extent. But we had a day where we had prosthetic breasts that had to be cut into, and they just were designed not correct. And we couldn't.
So the titties won't cooperate.
It was just trying to come up with this solution around it, but all you would hear is the boobs aren't working, and no amount of help from airbrush painting or anything else would work until our makeup artists Taylor and Carly came up with this brilliant solution. But we had lost sort of 8 hours of a 12-hour day on this indie horror film, The Scarehouse, trying to solve that problem. So it gets tedious when you know how much money is being burnt through, but you know, that's just part of the challenge. Is nothing, you're trying to do something left to center, and it just takes a lot of problem solving on the fly to make it work.
I hear that. All right. So when you made The Scarehouse, right, or worked on it rather, were you already the twisted genius, or did that movie kind of unlock a darker side of that creativity of yours?
I think I've always had a knack for darker storytelling. I loved horror movies growing up. I mean, I love all movies, but you know, as a youth, like horror movies were definitely my favorite. And you know, honestly, a lot of the twisted ideas in that film are my wife Sarah's. She was the she was the more twisted of the two of us, coming up with some of those unique kills and things. We co-wrote the story together.
Keep a secret, you know.
Yeah.
You know what? She probably watches a lot of those serial killer shows and says, you know what? I'm inspired today. I'm scared of these women that watch these shows.
we had a moment. We were living in Toronto at the time. We had a moment of going to a grocery store to do our weekly shopping, and just, you know, as we're putting cereal and bread and things in the cart, we're like, now, how much torque do you think you need off of a Jeep winch to crush somebody's ribs with a corset hooked up to a rope? And then you kind of like look around and you realize, like, oh, other people are starting to pay attention to us. We should probably stop talking because we sound like serial killers.
Yeah, right. You know, I'm about to record. Excuse me, are you guys okay? You know,
exactly. Yeah.
See you up to tonight. You better watch yourselves. I'll be that nosy ass guy that gets killed in the movie first. You know. So, how did it feel transitioning from horror, if it were, to emotional chaos in Last Call? I mean, did you cry behind the camera, or were you like nailed it and then moved on?
There was too much stress. Last Call was shot in a true single take, but also split screen.
Oh, wow.
So we had two camera crews running simultaneously in different parts of a city, both from action to cut, film the entire movie.
How the fuck did you manage that gap?
It was we were inspired by, there's a movie called Time Code that did it in the early 2000s on digital video, and we just kind of wanted to take, theirs was a little more improv in structure, and we wanted to take that and apply it to our story, because the story deals with a man attempting to call a suicide hotline, and he gets connected to a random stranger because he's misdialed by one digit because he's been drinking heavily. And we just thought the idea of, you know, we wanted to put the audience in the seat of this woman on the other end of the phone, that she doesn't know if she's saying the right thing ever, but she wants to stay on the phone and try to do the right thing for this guy. So by never cutting, you're sort of forcing the audience to live in every tense, awkward, you know, like life-threatening moment along that phone call's journey. But the research and development of how to do that, because we had to have the actors are actually connected over a telephone call, so they're live on the phone with each other. It's almost like having a stage play that's happening in two different buildings at the same time and capturing it. It is the film. The film has made me cry watching it. The performances that David Wilkins and Sarah Booth give in the film are phenomenal.
All right, bet. There we go. So now let's talk breakthroughs. Yeah. All right. what was the moment when you realized I am no longer chasing the industry? It's chasing me now, baby. What happened?
When I get there, I'll let you know. No, I think
you're doing some work, man. They're looking for you. There's some gems, baby. Come on, don't be playing.
No, it's true though. But like, you're only as good as your last project, and really, it takes that sort of rarefied position where people are throwing opportunity at you. It's that's the lottery ticket. Everything else is just hustling, and no matter how good your last film was, you're still going to have to like put in the effort. I guess it would be like being on an NBA team. If you win the championship and you win your ring, you still got to get back to the gym and train and practice and fight just as hard to keep it going for the next season, because there's always going to be new players coming in, people with different strategies, people changing it up. So if you're not constantly improving and training, you could easily get left behind. But there's a big turning moment for me. I did a music video for a friend's band called The Afters. They were already established. They were on Sony Columbia Records, and they had a single coming out that they weren't planning on doing a music video. And I, out of my own pocket, said, if you come to my city, I'll shoot this video. I have this idea. They came out here, we shot it, and it took off. It did millions of views and became sort of, I would say maybe one of the first pieces where people really
How did you know that maybe that particular song, whatever, was something you could do some magic with? Because there had to be something that made you want to say, I'm willing. I don't know what it is, but there's an energy here. What was it? Was it a spark? Was it something?
Yeah, I mean, lyrically, it really connected with me, and I had done a video for the band, a little tour video for the band in the past. And I believe in the band more than the particular song. I just felt like this was the song that was going to kind of help launch them. And it seemed a little, they weren't planning on shooting a video. The label hadn't put money up to do a video. And I thought that feels wrong,
Well, that's what labels are about sometimes, that's what they do. They play the artist, the artists don't read their contracts, and, their music gets raped.
There's a very famous story that the label fought very hard against having a music video for Thriller, which is now sort of known as one of the top music videos of all time.
Right. Well, what assholes have that not happened? That shit changed music.
Yeah, changed MTV, changed it. That album sold another 140 million records after the Thriller video. I mean,
who did not? If you didn't know Michael Jackson, you knew him. You knew him then.
that red leather jacket is just symbolic now. It's
Did you have one? Be honest. Did you have one? Did you have a diamond glove? Were you doing the moonwalk as a kid? Talk to me, bro.
No, but the first cassette tape I ever had was Thriller.
You said cassette.
Somebody bought me a cassette for Christmas, and that cassette, even when I got my license, like the car I had at the time had a cassette player in it. That cassette lived in my car forever. I had it from like childhood until I just didn't have a cassette player anymore.
Rebecca says Miss Booth rocked on Murdoch Mysteries.
Oh yeah, my wife was on the TV show Murdoch Mysteries here in Canada, popular crime drama. Yeah.
Oh, look at you! Hey,
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Talk about that little pip foot there. How'd you score an access like that? Nah.
we met at the Toronto Film Festival at a party that we both mutually or separately snuck into and met there. Neither of us were on the list or supposed to be there that day, so it was fate. So
hey, check you guys out. All right. So who approached who first? Be honest here, because if I have to ask.
She approached me. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, her friend Rochelle approached me, and then she joined the conversation.
Oh, one of those old school pass the letter type shit. There we go. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's so funny. All right, there we go. All right, so let's talk about what's your filmmaking superpower. Is it making folks cry? Is it scream or clicking replay, or all of the above?
Yeah, I think it's taking dark material but finding the hope in it. I think that ability to sort of bring the emotion out of like darker,
you have a Superman tattoo
series.
on you talking about hope.
No. I do want to see that new movie though. James Gunn's film looks great.
Yeah, I agree with you. All the haters, shut up, man.
You can't stop that. If you give anybody a platform where they're going to get enough people to like them for hating something, it's going to happen.
It's so dumb. Let's wait. And I think it was wonderful. Who cares if it's not Cavill? What the hell? Cavill's gonna get old eventually and he can't do it. What if one day he comes back? He could be Kingdom Come Superman. You never know. Stop.
I mean, listen, we got Michael Keaton back in the bat suit years after we never would, right? So yeah.
So exactly. Shut the fuck up, people. Now, if your career were a movie, what would the title and genre be? Now, be honest. We're talking about full-on director's cut over here.
Oh boy. I had a student at the university did a documentary on me once, and I loved the title she gave her piece. It was called My Invisible Friend, because I had said something to the effect of like, filmmaking is my invisible friend. Like I know it exists. I can feel it. I have conversations with it all day long, but the trick is now I have to convince the world that this invisible friend is real. And so I can get my movies out there. So I would go with that. I would, It would be a very slow, boring drama that takes place over several years called My Invisible Friend. Yeah.
You said a drama, muchacho. All right. So now we're gonna start getting into the juiciness of this whole thing, baby. All right, we're gonna be talking about this new project that you have out right now, right here. DreamCrusher, solve the mystery, win $100,000, a rising star, a tragic end, a case no one can crack. I mean, Gavin, I'm gonna ask you this one question, and I'm going to then show the trailer, and then we have a couple more questions. All right,
sure.
But it's time to crush those dreams, right? Literally, what is DreamCrusher, and what kind of creative storm birthed this interactive beast of an idea that you have here?
Yeah, DreamCrusher is an interactive murder mystery. So it's 8 episodes. You at home, you can be a passive viewer like you are on any other streaming service, or you can sign up for our app and sort of detective portal, and you get to become an investigator at home. There are clues buried in every episode and clues buried in the online and sort of the real world, where maybe you find a video clip over here or a photo here or a piece of evidence here. You can interact with some of the characters via email and social media platforms. So it feels like you're engaging with the characters that you're watching. And it sort of came out of Reveal, the platform that it's on. The founder of Reveal had this core idea of making a show that you could do an interactive murder mystery. And then I was brought in to develop DreamCrusher from that.
That is amazing. I'm thinking, all right, folks, y'all curious, I know, right? If that didn't pique your interest, I'm about to put you on right now. Check out the DreamCrusher trailer, baby.
I feel like life really has a way of crushing dreams.
I love the cinematography, man, for real.
I wrote this album in a way to overcome that. Even though things don't work out, you can still move forward and be resilient. I'm just really excited for everyone to hear it.
All my dreams come true.
And you don't think that you've been in California too long?
I'm not having this conversation. You love Mass. I live anywhere but Mass.
The single's coming out soon, and everyone
I live in
who
Mass
has
now.
done is going to hang their head.
The songs are pretty much diary entries of my life right now.
This isn't what I signed up for. You promised me things would be different. You promised me.
I beat you to it.
I have to tell you something. Gwen Thompson was found dead this morning.
How?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. This is going to be a frenzy. We need the names of everyone who interacted with her last night.
Already working on it. Getting security footage from the venue.
Everything that she worked for was for nothing.
You know, if this is the last record that I ever make, then it'll be okay because I've given everything to it.
You can crush my heart beneath your boot, no matter what you do to me. I've been through it.
Oh, good, yeah. It's a slow hook.
I beat you to it.
You'll be so hooked, man.
I think DreamCrusher is going to change everything.
Man, you are going to be so hooked on this, and not because you want the 100 racks. It's because the story, it's so documentary, it feels so real. Like, bro, where the fuck were you going with this? I dig it, you know.
Still shooting stuff for it. I still keep having little ideas where I go like, oh, let's get this, let's get that as we're going into our final episode. That was always sort of the intention. I thought if we're going to have this interactive element, we should play with mixed media. You know, the show is a traditional narrative most of the time, but as you've seen in some episodes, we start bringing in like sort of behind the scenes cameras of what would have
Yes, you
been
do.
following her music career,
I
or
love
lots
it.
of selfie videos.
It
And
feels
yeah.
so real,
Yeah.
man. It's like you did such a wonderful job of now creating this world. Like,
There's a Blair Witch Project poster hanging right there. I'm a massive fan of found footage when it's done well, when you can really immerse people into the world of what you're trying to
you're
create.
talking to the godfather of that, because I saw that movie when it was in BAM in New York.
Oh wow, yeah.
Film. I saw it twice. I was telling people, but people didn't appreciate it. I loved it the first time I saw it. Right?
Yeah.
I took some friends of mine the second time, and they're like, I don't like it.
Yeah, I think people weren't ready for the realism, and they were
mean?
expecting, but it does the great thing of not showing the monster, right? And people were just expecting the same old. So I don't know. I think Blair Witch did for camping what Jaws did for swimming, in terms of a lot of people were just like, yeah, I'm not going in the woods. Yeah.
You see this, Rebecca's like, gee, Gavin, it's crushing the faith you have us investigators to crack the case.
Yeah, well, maybe that's it. Maybe the Dream Crusher is we're the maybe us as the producers of the Dream Crusher, because only one person is going to win that $100,000.
So with this, are you purposely trying to break people's brains, or just give us the next evolution?
No, this is season 1 of something that plans to continue. So
nice.
A lot of it's experimental. We all just had to kind of trust our gut of what was too easy, what was too difficult, how many clues we should bury into things, how much of a chase it should be. But my argument always through it has been like, there's $100,000 on the line. It shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be as easy as picking a lottery ticket number and hoping you win. There has to be a little bit of a hunt. And, I know some of the clues are harder to find than others. And some of them we've even softened, where we could see through Facebook groups and people's social media talking about something was a little too difficult. We've softened it and maybe added it in a second place here or there, or brought it up in a future episode. But we're not out to ruin everybody's fun. We want everybody to have fun doing this investigation, but like a real detective, not every lead is gonna take you to
it has to be difficult.
To the gold mine, right?
It can't be easy. You got to get intrigued. You got to dig in. You got to do the work. I mean, if they hand it to you, where's the fun behind that? Then, I mean, that's where the conversations come from. Oh, I did this, and then somebody's gonna say, "Nah, you fucking crazy. Is this?" You know what I mean? So I love that you're creating community. You got something real here. Oh man, I think this is such a golden idea, and I was fucking with you, but I think this is in fact the next case. And again, having faith in people to crack a case like this. And what are you talking about? This $100,000? What are we talking about here? What?
If one viewer wins at home, whoever has the most points from collecting the evidence outside of the show itself, and then also correctly identifies, who the killer is, what their motive was. Like there's a few questions that are coming up. Somebody wins $100,000. So this is not just interactive TV. It's interactive TV with a reward. That's
some paper, baby.
So that's the idea. Like Dream Crusher is the title of season 1, but the show is called Reward, similar to like American Horror Story Hotel, American Horror Story Witch's Coven, or whatever. So Reward is the idea that each season people have access to watching television and taking home a prize. It blows my mind that everybody on the planet isn't watching this, because why you can save your reruns of The Office for later. You can say,
let's make $100,000. Listen, this is what the future of TV was supposed to do. You know what I mean?
This is the time to do it, because we have one more episode coming out in a few more weeks, and then we the case is closed. We pick that winner, whoever does it. So if you haven't started now, you don't have to have started when episode 1 dropped. You can start today and catch up on the 7 episodes that are out. Find all the clues, but in a couple weeks, that opportunity is over. So like now is the time to be watching and getting started on it.
All right, now let me fucking around, folks. You want to make that money? So let's get it now. Bro, you're a writer, man. You're a creator. How do you even write a show that lets viewers interact without even becoming like digital chaos?
It's been a challenge. It's different than most murder mysteries where you just, it's A to B to C to D to narrow it down and get to the end. Because I've really struggled in a fun way of writing, of making sure that the show can be entertaining on its own, that you don't have to interact with any of the exterior material to follow the show, but to make sure that the exterior material like elevates the experience and gives the audience more information about the characters and things, but also doesn't like ruin something in an upcoming episode. So it's a real balance to make sure that everything's, what are kind of the rule books and the evolution of the timeline of releasing information to make sure that it all works. Yeah.
I love Rebecca. Says he relishes stumping us every week. There's clues in episodes, believe me. Look at, are you a rhymer over here? Rebecca's a rapper over here. Let's go.
I don't relish in it. I relish in seeing the interaction, and I'm excited about people's dedication to the show, and seeing everybody interact with it has been a lot of fun, kind of in real time, week to week. But I don't. I'm glad I made it difficult enough that not everybody just finds every clue immediately, but I don't wish mental pain or anguish on anybody.
No migraines in the house here, right? Now, what role did your background in music videos and films play in shaping what DREAMCRUSHER's unique vibe and pacing?
Yeah, I spent several years sort of making tour videos for bands or documentaries about the making of albums for bands, for artists like Third Eye Blind, Vanessa Carlton, if you remember the 1,000 Miles song on the piano and her driving around the city. Yeah. So I kind of spent a lot of time around musicians. I've always loved the music industry. And so when the idea of making DREAMCRUSHER about a pop star that gets murdered the night before her, album that's supposed to change her career forever and launch her into superstardom comes out, I thought, okay, well, I've got a bunch of real world stories I can kind of work in there, and some of the interactions and pitfalls of the music industry that I've witnessed. And then, because she's a pop star and one of the episodes is set on her music video, well, after that episode came out, we dropped her music video. So you can go find, we created this world. The actress Brittany Charlotte Smith, who's playing Gwen, sings the music in the show. So
a wonderful job, singer, bro. Because I was even in The Voice. I'm like, yo, you know what? I could see this young lady even playing Dazzler on X-Men. Yo, you may have cast a star here, baby.
Let her know that. She'd be thrilled to hear that. I have my good friend of mine, Blue.
She's beautiful too.
My friend Blue produces and writes for a lot of pop stars. He's worked with Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers in the past, to name just a few, as well as his own awesome music. And he came in to do the music for us. And that's where the mixed media started. I was like, oh, she has to go in the studio and record this song. I should bring a camera and film it and treat it as if it's like the record label sent a cameraman down for the day. And that sort of was the birth of the mixed media side of things. But I just thought I'm not a fan of when you watch something, this is something from 10-15 years ago and before that, where you'd watch a show about a singer and the music would be really bad. You could tell they were just obviously lip syncing. Like, we've come a long way to like where we have Timothée Chalamet
no more Milli Vanilli,
yeah, no more Milli Vanilli, although that documentary was pretty good. Yeah,
it was awesome, absolutely. Now, is this show gonna make us question our morals or just question our attention spans and whatnot? What are you really trying to say through the story?
I think not question morals. I mean, you'll question the morals of some of the characters in the series and question the morals of the entertainment industry. But I think on the attention span thing, what's been interesting is I think we have a show that's cracked the code on retaining attention. Because if you watch the show with your phone in your hand and you're scrolling and only passively watching, you're going to miss something that could lead you to the $100,000 prize. And I know that I don't know the exact metrics now, but after the first couple episodes, I saw some statistics from Reveal, and the amount of rewatches that we get per episode per person is kind of fascinating. People going back and looking for clues, or say episode 3 comes out and it's like, well, I'll go back and rewatch episode 1 and 2 and see if something said in 3 doesn't rechange what I think about what happened or was said in 1 and 2 that I might have missed. So I think, those are sort of crucial things that I think the industry struggles with, of how to, even in movie theaters, how to keep people off their phones in movie theaters.
Bro, you do that? Could you imagine, like, as a promo, every Friday, one chapter of this is released in a certain movie theater, along with whatever new movie releases that, kind of as a promo thing, or always part of the trailers. But no one would want to miss those fucking trailers or previews.
Yeah.
You're gonna get to see this first episode of this independent project. I think that's a great way to independent creators to work with maybe movie houses? What do you think?
I'm excited. I just saw they released the trailer for F1, the Apple movie with Brad Pitt, the racing movie.
Yeah.
But they put the trailer out on Apple TV Plus, and if you watch it on your phone through Apple TV Plus, it activates the haptics in your phone, so it vibrates and shakes when the car is rumbling, almost the way that like video game trailers do. And I just thought, like, how is it's 2025? How has nobody done this yet? But I like every time I see somebody innovate something new with technology, and like, you know, even Apple Vision Pro and their 3D element. I'm investigating some 3D films to make right now, and I love every time a new technology comes out, thinking, how does this apply to storytelling? And, you know, not all of it's going to stick around or be the future, but I kind of want to just play with it all and see if there's something I can add to it.
There is that 4D film element now, you know, that's coming out. You could probably use. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know how great it'll be on this one, because it's not, you know, it's more of a slow pace. But I'm pretty sure you have some horror movie ideas that'll be fun. You know, the running and feeling that vibration of the running. Oh man, that would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be super fun. That's what I mean. I'm excited every time somebody innovates like that. I'm excited. Yeah.
All right, so. What was the biggest challenge then directing this format? You know, actors, technology, you know, and let's keep spoilers from leaking, of course, but you know, what was it?
Biggest challenge is it's you know, this is my first foray into television. I've been trying to break into episodic television directing for a long time, but it's
stop lying, bro.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to do
kudos on you, bro.
Thank you.
Pop like a motherfucker. This is a great show.
Right, you know, writing and directing the whole thing, that's definitely a challenge. But we shot in 3 different cities. You know, it's working in we shot the majority of it in Worcester, Massachusetts, which their mayor's office, their city council and everything was wonderful and amazingly helpful.
I'm in Webster, bro. I'm only 25 minutes from Webster.
Yeah, they've shot some big shows there, like Walking Dead, Dead City. They shot some of the holdovers there, some of Madam Web. But you know, we came in as this we're independent. We're scrappy. We don't have Netflix budgets. You know, this is a newer streaming platform making their first narrative show. So we need that sort of help and assistance. But the city helped us so much. They treated us the same as if we were a $15 million or $100 million movie coming to town. There was no difference or delays in sort of rolling out the red carpet to help us. But really no big challenge. The only real challenge is, like, there's so much more that we could and wanted to do, but we're only sort of learning as we go. So it'll just have to be put into season 2. So the challenge is like limiting how far we went in building the world around the TV show.
Oh, there we go. All right, so let me put some comments up here. Big shout out to Rebecca. Says, we do all love the whole Laura Palmer vibe the show has going on.
Nice Twin Peaks reference. I'll take it. Twin Peaks is one of my all-time favorite series, and I wouldn't expect people to compare the Gwen mystery to the death of Laura Palmer, but I'll take it.
Hey, wonderful compliment, absolutely. And then the attention to detail on the show is extremely satisfying to me. I question the morals of the character Dawson Spears constantly.
It's Dawson Pierce. There's just a small typo there, but Dawson is the record label exec who Gwen signed her deal with.
Of course, who doesn't expect a grimy ass A&R?
And he's constantly dancing this line of like, I'm your friend, I'm here to help you, but also like really trying to pressure her and rush her to sign this new contract because it's about to end after this album. So, you know, it's a fun industry, but it doesn't always have the artist's best intentions in mind. Yeah.
There we go. Now, who's the dream viewer for this show?
I think anybody who's into true crime documentaries or podcasts, anybody who loves murder mysteries, you know, if you're a fan of Only Murderers in the Building or the Knives Out franchise, you know, any of those, Shonda Rhimes has the new one about the murder mystery in the White House on Netflix. I forget the title, but yeah, if you like any sort of board games, trying to puzzle games, figure things out, and you're a fan of crime dramas,
like Clue and shit.
Yeah. Again, you should watch all of those shows. I love all of those shows, but come watch our show now. Well, you can win $100,000.
That's $100 racks.
Put those ones in the queue, come back to them later. But yeah, I think it would be satisfying if you were a fan of those things and you think like, oh, I know who did it. I'm listening to this podcast. Like, I know how this is going to turn out. This is your chance to prove it.
Oh, no, not. I need more excitement for you. This is it. This is the final question here, the final one. Without spoiling anything, I need you, it's not even a question. This is what I need from you. I need you to do something for us, for the Crusader family, all right? All right, so without spoiling anything, I need you to give us your best cryptic teaser line that would make someone drop everything and stream this right now. Drop their kids, burn their food, whatever they got to do. Just watch right now.
There is a line in the last episode that aired, episode 7, that will tell you everything, even if you didn't find everything else.
Oh, you hear this, folks? That's a tease. And I want to go to Rebecca because it brings shout outs of respect, another comments. It kind of reminds me how they used to release old Zorro serials in the movies where it was only one episode a week and you had to wait a whole week to find out what happened the last time. Yeah, I mean, good old 80s TV viewing.
Yeah, we try to have a little bit of that cliffhanger effect where every episode ends with you be like wanting more and just leaving with just enough to be like, I don't know where this is going. And we've tried to change it up a little bit too, because as the episodes you've seen, some of the episodes, like episode 4, intentionally feels like a sort of a VH1 behind the music special where it's going back earlier in her career and try to just play with those different formats. Yeah, so we've tried to keep it where you don't necessarily know exactly what's coming each week either.
It's wonderful. Yeah, you're doing a great job keeping us on our toes, but the whole aspect, storytelling behind it feels so real. This is a real artist.
And part of that is the cast. Like, we had a wonderful cast. Your script is only as good as the people speaking the lines, and like if you believe everyone in there, and everyone's got to play that layer of like they could be guilty at all times, but they also could be telling the truth. And it's a fine line for actors to walk to not be too obvious or too cheesy. Yeah, do you want to say who you think did it?
I'm thinking it's the teacher, son.
The teacher. Ruth Elliott. Yes. She wrote a book that got blocked from being published. That's a lot of money in hopes and dreams.
Man, exactly. I mean, she got nothing to lose. She owed us. She's like, F it, why not?
Yeah, could be. You could be right.
OP was just evil. That's what I'm saying. No, I know. All right, so now this is the last question here. Now, are you going to be making any appearances anywhere where people can maybe hang out with you, shake your hand, talk about what the next feature film, try out for a film, drop that in front of you. Look how I die, something.
I have a feature that we've been working on for a few years that does similar to the way that DreamCrusher has. A lot of the actors in episode 6 didn't even have to leave their own home. They were recording like as a podcast host from their apartment or doing video vlogs from wherever they were. And I was just directing online. I have a film that I'm in the middle of that has some of that element to it. So I am looking for actors. It's non-union, so you can't be part of the SAG union, but if you're an actor and you want some lines and stuff, hey, you should be in it because I need podcasters in it.
I'm in Webster. What's up, puppy? Hit me up. I'm here.
But yeah, live in person, not so much. My head's down finishing some projects right now.
I did it before, and it's a lot of fun. And Rebecca says, "Hey, in my defense, I'm dyslexic, Gavin. My spelling."
I'm right there with you, Rebecca. I'm mildly dyslexic, but I just thought I'd point it out for the audience reading it. But Dawson Spears also just sounds like perhaps you have a little Freudian slip there of like you think he's got something to stab people with, and he's backstabbing Dawson Spears.
Look at what a reference there, like the ultimate porno name. Move on, Jeremy. Love it. But you have great energy. I appreciate you. Mi gente, this is it, man. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Listen, this is what you gotta do. Find my man Gavin on X at Gavin Booth. So easy peasy. But of course, it's this channel right here. Oh man, you know what? Fuck that. This is actually the last question because people need to know what is it reveal or revel?
It's reveal. So it's like a movie. It's like a movie reel, but also revealing new content to you. So, yeah. It's
all just right. So how often does content drop on this? Is this yours? How does this work?
It's there's new content uploaded all the time. Reveal started kind of as being the home for independent filmmakers. There are so many short films and indie features and documentaries and web series on there currently. And then they did a real estate show, like a lifestyle reality show. And now this with Reward and DreamCrushers, their first narrative series. So they're taking that leap into creating their own content to bring to people, as well as adding more independent films all the time.
Wonderful. A big shout out to Juan for tuning in. Thank you for the compliment. A big shout out to Rebecca as well for your commentary. And please, check out review right there. Check out Dream Crush. There's 100 racks on the line. If you're not tuned in to want to win $100,000, I mean, listen, this is TV viewing with a purpose now. Heck yes.
Yeah,
TV should have always been.
I could use $100,000. I want a show to come along that I'm not involved in where I can win $100,000. I'll be playing. I'll be watching. Yeah.
Hey, but I better not see you some fake accounts of Booth. See you in the dress somewhere later on winning. I won. Like, hey.
No. I've made several jokes that there's a documentary a few years ago called McMillions about the McDonald's monopoly scandal and how those people rigged that. And because so many of my friends have just joked around like, hey, why don't you tell me the answer and we'll split it 50-50. I'm like, I am not ending up in a McMillions documentary one day. No, thank you.
That's the last thing I do not want to be doing that podcast. All right, folks, come on now.
Exactly.
Former guests. No.
I don't need the next season of Reward being the mystery into how I rigged season 1. It gets super meta. Yeah.
All right. On the next season reveal. All right, yo. New show. I love it, bro. Gavin, you have wonderful energy. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much. Check out everything Comic Crusaders and comiccrusaders.com. You know what it is. All right, mi gente. Hasta la próxima. You know what it is. It's Omega. It is Mr. Gavin Michael Booth. Tune in every week. We got the business. Swepa.
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.